Okay, so now we have established the connection to server and we have workstation server view. Now node installation. Okay, so node installation is also a simple one, guys. The workstation which I talked about, right, that's with the Windows. If you want to do with the Mac, I have steps. Anybody have a Mac, you can just use this. Okay, fine. Now most of your work you will be doing it in the your workstation. Okay, not anywhere else. So before working with your chef, okay, let's try to have some basic knowledge. Okay, then come back here and we'll work on it. Okay, so let's go to the basics notes and I'll tell you what are all the components which you have it in the chef. Okay, now till the node we'll talk about later, guys. Okay, so we'll come to the node later. So before working with the node, right, I wanted to give some basics of the chef. Okay, chef. Okay, basics of chef knowledge. Okay, now at this point of time, at this point of stage, okay, you already might be aware of few terminologies. Okay, I can easily say what do you mean by chef server. Okay, and what do you mean by chef workstation. Okay, and what do you mean by chef node. Okay, right. Now similarly, I want to talk something about chef related basic topics. Okay, so what exactly they are? Chef basics. Okay. So generally, I used to go through with some reference, so I need to follow a sequence. So if you guys are interested to learn with a graphical user interface, okay, with the cloud-based, you can make use of this link. This is given by Opscode guys itself, pretty easy link, okay, for any new beginners and learners. They can just go through it easily. Okay, so this is part by part is there, and you know what, it will give you time also how long it will take you to launch a machine. So you know what, launching a machine thing, but you know to set up anything. Right now we are using Vagrant, VirtualBox, and downloading the softwares, blah blah blah, everything. So this guy is giving a already installed chef SDK machine to you. Okay, you just start to launch it, that's it. Okay, so if you launch it, it will launch a machine and you just start to log in with the putty credentials and you can access. So this is a pretty nice machine he is giving. See, 20 GB CentOS 7 with the 1 GB RAM he is giving it to you. Okay, so if you want to work with the cloud, you can work with this guys. Okay, but anyway, we have our machines already in our operating system, so we know to worry about it. Okay, so first, anybody learning with the chef, right, it's mainly architecture driven tool where you have to understand architecture first. Okay, then once you understand the architecture, then we need to proceed with the basic components of your chef. Okay, so when it comes to the basic components, right, so we will write some sort of a scripts in the chef. Okay, some scripts, and these scripts we call it as a resource, we call it as a recipes, guys. Okay, and you know what, this recipes again, and the scripts are nothing but recipes. Okay, and this recipes contains resources, okay, and their actions. Okay, now let me tell you what you mean resources and actions. Okay, think about, I'm writing a shell script. Okay, that's shell script to start my Tomcat server. That is an example. Okay, now in starting a Tomcat server, the script name, the script we call as a recipe. Okay, inside the script you may use SSH command, right? Okay, and this SSH command, and you put shutdown.sh blah 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 blah. Okay, I'm just giving an example with the shell script. Okay, so this SSH we called as a resource, and this command we called as the action. Okay, so this is how the entire chef recipe will be defined. Okay, a recipe is nothing but it's a collection of resources with their actions. Okay, a resource can be anything. Okay, so example, a resource can be a file. Okay, it can be a directory. Okay, and it can be a service. It can be anything. Okay, so the list of resources which are available with your chef are these. Okay, few of the resources, these are all the resources. Okay, so a technical meaning of resource is a resource can be anything of a system. This is system actually, system in desired state. Okay, a resource can be anything of system in desired state. A simple thing is, example, I wanted to create a directory. Okay, so that is a directory is a resource in a created format. So something like that. Okay, so a resource is something like, any system component, or you can call it a component, it's a small component. Okay, a package, a service. Okay, a directory. Can you see this? A directory, a file. Okay, a template. I'll tell you what is a template, what is a cookbook file. We'll talk about them. Even a cron job, okay, scheduling something. So these are all your resources, guys. Okay, you can configure any resource in a recipe. Okay, so these resources will be there in your recipe. Okay, and again, each resource, example service. You know what? It's a service, nothing but you look at this in Windows services. Okay, now when I open this, any service. Okay, you just look at any service. What exactly it will be having? This is one service, right click. It is having start, stop, pause, resume, restart. Okay, you know what are all this? These called actions. Okay, now every resource will have, okay, actions. Okay, that's what I'm talking about here. In a recipe you will have resources and their actions. Okay, a directory is there. Okay, it has an action called create, and it has action called delete. That's it. Okay, a service is there. It has an action called start. Okay, stop. Okay, restart, blah blah blah. So typically your components, I mean your resources, okay, will be having a desired state and their actions. Okay, so that's about a resource meaning. I'll give you the syntax of resource and all. I mean, you can just look at the documentations of resources. Just copy this link. This link will give you detailed explanation about the resources. Can you see this? About resources, and whatever, just a simple example is given. Okay, example, directory is a resources, right? And where do you want to create a directory? In a TMP in TMP I want to create a folder called folder, directory called folder, and do end. So every resource will start with the do and end, and inside that it will be having an action. Can you see an action here? It's a create. Okay, so that is for a directory. So you can find similarly for other things also. Okay, so package. Okay, and similarly you can find for a service. Okay, so those are all like, n number of resources available and their actions also. If you want to like make use of any of the resources, and you can just come over here and just you can make use of it. That's it. These are all the your resources only. Okay, can you see this? Each and every resource, there's so many are there. Okay, this file is another simple one. You just click on the file, it will clearly explain what is a file resource. Okay, so file, nothing but in this location I want to create this file with the content here. The content is an action here. Okay, with this content. So something like this we have to learn. Okay, this is not a programming language to learn like basics, like data types and all. It's a completely different language. This type of language we call it a domain specific language. Okay, we have to learn in this way only. Now that's about first resources, guys. Okay, next, okay, to play around with this, okay, I want to like help you to write some recipes first to you. Okay, so let's try to write some simple recipes. Okay, and work out with the small things. Okay, now go to your workstation. Okay, so if you have, where is your workstation? This is what your workstation, right? And come back, and in this workstation you are there at the home location. Okay, and to work with your recipes, right, You don't record your chef server, guys. Okay, if you have a simple chef SDK, that is more than enough. Okay, now what I will do, I'll write a simple hello.rb. Your recipes will extend with RB format, RB extension, which is nothing but a Ruby. Okay, so your recipes will follow exactly the Ruby syntax conversion. Try to open this. Okay, now the line 1 itself, you can write a recipe and you can just add it. So look at this. This is a simple recipe. Okay, now this recipe is having a resource called file. Okay, and the file name is sample.txt and it has a content called hello world. That's it, a simple recipe. Just say this. Now once you say, and can you look at, do you have a sample.txt here? No, but if you try to run this command, okay, chef.apply, okay, hello.rb, just run this. That's it, it is executed. And if you look at this, now this recipe executed its resources and their actions, and you can see a sample.txt. It was not there earlier, and you can see inside the sample.txt you can have the hello world data as well. Can you see this hello world data? So this is, I mean, you can write a number of what do you call, resources inside a single recipe. It's not about only one. Okay, you can write a number of one. So there's a simple execution of a normal resource file, guys. A recipe file. Okay, so this file we call as a recipe. Okay, and this is how you execute a recipe with the chef apply command. Okay, next. Okay, so you have seen a simple action called creation. Okay, so content is not an action, guys. Content is another property. Okay, to write something, but action is there is one thing called action is performing a state change of a resource. Okay, so earlier it is creating it, but you don't see any thing called like this action create. This is not there. The reason, every resource will have a default action. Okay, so the default action you know to mention. Okay, it will automatically take it. But if I wanted to delete a file, okay, now same hello.rb, what I will do it, I'll remove this, I'll give another action. Okay, now sample.txt is there, right? Now you try to run a command called yeah. Any questions, guys? Viru?
No question. Just now I heard. That
Oh,
time I'm unable to see your screen.
okay, fine. Yeah, no issues. Okay,
Now I am trying to in my laptop.
okay, fine. No issues. See you. Yeah. So have a look at this. The file has been deleted now. Okay, because now this time on a resource it's a different action, which is a delete action. Okay, so the file is no more. So you have to understand it this way. Okay, a recipe contains a resource and it will be having some action. So your job is to make sure as per your requirement. Okay, use the resource with the required action. Right, so this is another example. So look at this. Resources can have action. So create is an action. Okay, but this is a default action. You don't need to apply this. Okay, in earlier recipe we didn't apply any create, but here delete we applied it because it's not a default one. Okay, so this is hello.rb, also called as a recipe. Okay, this file, this script is also called as a recipe in chef terminology. Okay, now if you come back to the terminology, you should understand now what is a recipe. Recipe is nothing but it's a collection of resources and their actions, also called as a script to execute a state of components in your machine system. Fine. So if you want a really technical definition, it is there here. Okay, briefly, a recipe means collection of resources that describes particular configuration policy, okay, which manages the files, deploys application, installs, configures software components. Okay, so I just told you in an easy way, but configuration nothing but a recipe, a resource can be anything, right? If it is a service, it can be installed, it can be configured. So It's all about making your software in a desired state on a machine. So that's something about a resource, guys. Okay. Now let's proceed further and understand a little more about the other components. Now you know what is a resource, okay? And you know what is sorry, we know what is a recipe, not resource, guys. Okay. So recipe, and you know what is a resource, what is an action. Okay. Let's see the another important terminology word is cookbook. What is cookbook? Okay. So to explain the cookbook, let me tell you one thing. See, a cookbook is a collection of recipes together, okay, with some metadata. Okay, so to explain it clearly, what I can say, if you I can compare with the Java. Okay, so you remember the war file, guys? Okay, what is a war file? It's a collection of class files, okay, and some static content, some dynamic content, okay, some metadata files, everything together it become a war file, and that works properly. So similarly, think about a cookbook is something like you are deploying a lead app application, guys. Simple thing. Okay, you are deploying a lead app application. So you want to prepare some scripts for your lead app application. Okay, so for that you might be writing multiple recipes. One is for SQL, one is for your Tomcat, one is for other some other service. Okay, so all of them you need to manage it. Okay, so to manage them, what you can do it instead of managing it differently. Okay, sometimes you may need to keep some static files. Okay, so to make all of them together, okay, you can prepare a it's not a compressed one. It's a a disciplined way of managing all those recipes in a single way that we call as a cookbook. Okay, so in a technical meaning, I mean technical definition, this guy is talking. Can you look at this now? See, more than a file creation using chef recipe. See, as of now, you just seen a file creation, but you can do many things. Okay, with the help of recipes and all. So he's not talking about the okay, cookbook is explained here, guys. Okay, so it's all about managing a recipe in a more manageable way. That's it, nothing else. As an see example, I would say I want to deploy one HTML file. I want to start that HTML. Okay, I want to perform different activities. Okay, so all of them, if you want to do together, right, you might be having a number of recipe files. So all those we can manage together in a cookbook. It's something like a collection of recipes. That's it. So it's not only recipes, it has so many other things. Once I enter into the cookbook creation, I'll explain you guys. Okay, so before that, he's talking about something about the packages. Okay, let's try to complete this package and we'll proceed further. Okay, so the third point is, so now here, right, you're just seeing a simple file creation. Okay, let's try to do a little more. Okay, I'm apache.rb. I'm creating another recipe. Okay, so in this recipe, what I will do it, I want to install a software. Okay, so HTTPD software I want to install it. So just take this package HTTPD and have a look at this. That will just install your HTTP. If you want, you can just try to apply chef apply apache.rb and see this. That will install Apache HTTP server in your machine. Okay, can you see this? It is installing that. You can install MySQL also with that. It's not, I mean, it's a simple thing actually. It will make use of yum command only ultimately, and make sure you have an internet connectivity. It is not doing anything new. Okay, so if you look at this, it's a simple error. You need to be root because as it is installation resource. Okay, so you have to be root. Sudo, yes, because yum you cannot install with a normal user. Okay, so still going on. Let this finish. It needs to download from the internet, so give it some time. So that's it, successfully installed. So if you want to cross check, you can check it out. etc initd httpd. See this status. It is not started, guys. It is just installed. Okay. HTTP status unknown due to the insufficient permissions. So you just check it out with the sudo. It stopped. It's not started. So your file, your recipe is there, right? Okay. So just install a package called httpd. Okay. Now let's try to start this. Okay. To start it, as it is already installed as a service, right? So let's make use of this service. Okay. And what is our service name? Okay, your service name typically will be httpd. So I want to start httpd. Okay, and this is what an action. Enable start. And now you try to apply this. That's it. It's gonna be. See, if you look at this, right? It is trying to install one more time, but it will not install. The reason the HTTP is already there, okay, because your recipe contains both package installation and service start, okay. And if you look at this, if a task is already done, it will not perform. And can you see this? The installation is up to date. What exactly the meaning is? The installation already done. Only thing is the startup didn't happen, okay. Now the startup happened and start service. That's it, okay. Now if you want, you can cross check with this command. Can you see Apache HTTP is running now? Okay. And if you try to run the command again, okay, now this time it's already installed, it's already started, so it will not perform anything. Everything it says up to date, up to date, up to date. That's it. So this is the benefit of chef recipes, guys. But if you write a shell script, right, if you want to do some action, you don't check whether it is already performed or not. You will blindly, like, proceed with executing your actions. So this is what the benefit of making use of enterprise tools. It is something like, works smartly, where if an action is already happened, it will not perform it again. See this? It is not starting because it's already started. It is not installed. It's already installed. So all this stuff we can easily identify with the output. Okay, fine. So now I want to do a little more. Okay, so as of now you've seen one or couple of resources in a recipe. Okay, I'm just trying to add multiple resources. Okay, you know what, in HTTP server you can keep some HTML files, especially at this location where www html. So here there's nothing is there. If you can create HTML file and you can do that, you can access that from your browser. Okay, just look at this. You can access that from here. 192.168.9 is your server, right? So if you try to access on port number 80, it will work actually. So you just try to enter. It should access your Apache server. If it is running, you can access that. See, it is running nothing, but you should be able to access your Apache server. Did we change the is the port number got changed or what? Conf etc httpd. It's 84 only. ifconfig. Okay, it's a 30 guys. We are accessing 33. Wrong, right? Make it as 30. Yes. So you can access the Apache homepage, right? Now I want to access something else, okay, as an HTML page from my Apache server, like in abc.html, okay. So there is no abc.html, and all this you can create it with your recipe actually, okay. So let's try to alter our recipe, okay. Vi Apache recipe. Now I want to add a file recipe now, okay. So file, and where do you want to create? I wanted to create in the bar www html, okay. Let's try to create you can call it as index.html, okay. If you call index, you don't need to do you need to call it with the file name, okay. Do and you can add some content, okay. So content can be like some HTML tags, HTML body, let's say h1 hello, this is my first recipe, h1 body, HTML, okay. Right, now you just try to apply this. Where is my apply command? Yeah, here is my apply. Okay, open and close h1 tag. That should be fine, no issues, okay. So let's try to access the, it's done now, index.html, okay, double dot. Can you see this? Hello, this is my first recipe. I mean h1 didn't apply it. The reason it is, there's something wrong in our recipe. You look at this, the tags are wrong, okay. Where is it? Come on. H1 should be open first, then closed. Okay guys, now if you look at this, these are all already applied and they are running, okay. Now index.html got changed, right? Content has been changed, so whenever there is a change, right, it will not say up to date, it will perform it again. Now it is performing it again. It will perform only the resource which got changed, okay. Right, okay. Now come back here, try to refresh. Now you can see the h1. Hello, this is my first recipe, okay. So this has been applied now. So this is how, like, you can just play around with the recipes and all, okay. You can try multiple. See guys, I just shown you only a couple of resources. One is a file, one is a service, okay, one is a package, one is a directory, okay. So you can do many things actually, okay. So There are so many other resources are there. If you want, you can look for the chef, Upscore chef documentation and just play around with that. Okay. Next, you can do the Iptables restart also. See, there's one more is there. Can you see? Iptables is a service which is already available. You can restart if you want it. You can stop and start. Typically, this is required for cloud-based missions actually. For us, it is not required anymore. Fine. So that's something about resources, recipes and all. Okay.